We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order for the Board of Education for September 2nd, 2025. Start first with roll call. On my left, Ms. Janet Ward.
Present.
Ms. Teresa Calhoun.
Present.
Ms. Polly Jones.
Present.
Ms. Diane Elder.
Present.
Josh Rutten present as well. Next, we've got on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Anybody have anything else on the agenda?
I'd like to move the Wilkes Community College MOU out of the consent agenda. There is something I'd like to discuss about that. And it's not something in there, it's something I have a question about.
Okay.
I'd also like to, we just received information about an overnight field trip for the volleyball team in September. And so it's at the end of this month, and I'd like to bring that for consideration to the board, and I will, it's Hendersonville.
Reason why that not been done.
I have not learned about it until today. Apparently it's been known, but I don't know how long it's been known, but we want kids to be able to go on the opportunity if possible. But I think that was maybe oversight on someone's part.
Which, you say, high school?
High school volleyball team. Hendersonville for a tournament
Anything
at the end
else?
of this month.
We can put those, if that's okay, under action, probably 10 and 11. We'll just put them there.
And I'll go ahead and add that. So you want me to take
Just move that.
the Wilkes
yeah.
MOU out of closed session? I can move that one.
Just make it 10 and the overnight trip is on there.
Anyway, it was going to closed session.
Oh, no,
No, it's on-
just in
did I say
consent.
no?
No, you're good.
Sorry.
So we'll make that, we'll make that 10,
Battery on here. It's actually great, mean and love.
and then I'll add an action item for the volleyball.
Hearing nothing else on there, do I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
I move we approve the amended agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Hill, any other questions or comments? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Next, we've got here, let's see if I can refresh. Next, we've got the Pledge of Allegiance. That's the chair's flag.
Here's the.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
State law, we'll be going into closed session. For the implementation of the state law. On there, but it is for issue.
Discuss an issue related to confidentiality.
Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
I think that's
Okay,
all right. I'll take it.
Ms. Elvis, you made the motion. Ms. King, is that it? All right. So we got a motion and second, the questions, comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. We'll go into closed session.
Our district team has been in every school multiple times, have done walkthroughs to see teachers in action, met with principals, even looked at numbers. In fact, I think I sent you all an email last week that we are growing in some grade levels that have some restrictions. So we are hiring a first grade teacher at Mountain View because our numbers went up, as well as a teacher assistant at that school as well. So those are posted. They were posted last week. So if you're a first grade teacher out there or would love to work in Ashe County schools, we would love to have you. So we're in that process. And you can call here at the central office. You can call me, call Dr. Moken, or just about any one of us, and we will put you in touch with the right people so that you can come work in Ashe County schools. So anyway, so we are growing in some areas, and teachers are hard at work. I've seen learning targets and essential questions posted on boards. We've seen high levels of student engagement. And I think that the focus on high yield teaching strategies and really getting kids to communicate with each other has been really important. We even see all across the board teachers using exit tickets and different ways to check for understanding, and the kids are truly engaged in a lot of ways. One of the things that we started last year, and then we had a little bit of disruption and have come back to, is really paying attention to every moment, every conversation, every minute in the classroom being used wisely. And boy, our teachers and our students have risen to the occasion, and I've seen bell-to-bell teaching. And I think it's really helped having no cell phones in the entire school day. So not just during the class, they don't have to be distracted by it every other time. That bell-to-bell has truly helped us. There's another seat up here if you want. You're welcome. But bell-to-bell, I think, has tremendously helped us. We have seen students and teachers alike, even those that had reservations to begin with, truly embrace it. And it's been really loud in the cafeterias, and it's been really loud in the hallways, but I think that's a good thing because that loudness has been true chatter of getting to know their friends and their peers, and a lot of academic conversations have been taking place as well. So week 3, again, outstanding teaching, and I'm just excited because every time I've walked into a classroom, kids are willing to share what they did that day, or what they were doing currently. We do not have a state budget yet. So I wanted to bring that up because that makes decisions really tough for schools. We have to operate under a budget. We can't overspend our money because that really comes back to taxpayers, and we want to make sure that we spend it as wisely as we can. But we do not have a state budget, and I hope you guys encourage that when we do get a state budget, you encourage our lawmakers to truly invest in public education. Our kids matter. It's not about our schools and teachers and everybody else. It's about our students, which means it's about everything else, right? How we can upkeep these buildings, how we pay our teachers, how we invest in programs like CTE. And a lot of that is that combination of funds. And I have the most amazing finance team here that we're going to honor today, and you will see why. Was it 13 or 14 years straight? I think it's 13. What is it? 13 years straight of getting an award, and they're going to get it tonight or be recognized tonight. But it would really help if the investment was in our kids. I would love for that to happen. So I just wanted to say that out loud. While we're doing the best that we can without one, it would really be helpful if we had a true state budget that invests in the things that we do on a regular basis. So having said that, we have some people that I want to introduce. And so sitting right over here, we have two students from the high school. First, Claire. So Claire Howe is the student council president at Ashe County High School, and she is joining us as a student representative to the Board of Education. And after this month, we hope that they'll be able to take an active role and have something each month to share with you all. Second is Felice Zhu, and he is the student body president at Ashe County High School. And so we welcome both of them. Then you also know Ashe County Early College High School's representative Addison Dollar, who had a tennis match tonight, so was unable to be here because this meeting is on a Tuesday instead of a Monday. But we are very proud of all three of them. They are fantastic leaders here in their school, for their peers, voted on by their peers, and I know that they will have a lot to contribute to the board and in our community as this year goes on. And these are two seniors. Yay! So senior year is in full swing for all of our students. So welcome. So speaking of another wonderful person at our high school, I want to first of all call, and we'll go up here to the microphone, Megan Culvert up, who is a health science teacher at Ashe County High School. So we have several people here to honor Miss Culver, but I know I've told the story again or before, but I wanted to tell it again. So I had a group of students that I was asking about, what do they want to see in Ashe County schools? What do you like best about our schools? And every single student, now mind you, maybe I was talking to all high flyers, I don't know, but every single student mentioned they want more teachers like Mrs. Culver. And so I was so excited because the last kid that I talked to was basically overjoyed with the things that he was sharing about Miss Culvert's class. And it happened to be the day of the Heart of the Husky, so this was in May. And I ran into Miss Culvert, and I started crying. I was like tearing up. I'm like, why am I crying? The compliments on Miss Culvert. But I was so excited to be able to share with Miss Culvert how much she is truly loved in school, but she was loved for the right reasons too, and rigor was a part of it. So they really felt like they learned something in her classroom. She wasn't just the nice teacher who had them do hands-on things and really invested in their learning. She was rigorous, and they truly appreciated that. So I just wanted to say, Megan, we are so thankful that you're here, and I got to give her 5-year pin this year. I got my 5-year pin for service to Ashe County Schools. Same year, so we share that bond. We came here right together. Anyway, but Megan, today we have some people here, and you probably are wondering why she's being recognized. So she has been selected as one of the 24 finalists for the NCAT 2026 Burroughs Wellcome Fund North Carolina Career and Technical Education Teacher of the Year Award. So I think I only have 2 names down written here that are here to support, but I know there are 3 people here. So Nancy Cross, and she is the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction Office of CTE Assistant Director, and the Deputy Director, Dr. Karen Sumner. And who else do we have? It saluted me. Come on up. Please give them a round of applause.
Good evening. Thank you, Superintendent Cox and members of the Ashe County School Boards of Education. Now, I am not Dr. Karen Sumner. I am Jen Hodge, Dr. Sumner's Chief Academic Officer.
Anybody get it wrong? So.
It is A-OK because Karen couldn't make it tonight, but it's such my honor to be here with you. And you already met Dr. Nancy Cross, the CTE Assistant Director, and Karen Boyles, the DPI Regional CTE Coordinator. So thank y'all so much. And we have Megan up here. So here we go. On behalf of the North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching, it is my privilege to announce that Megan Colford, a health science teacher at Ashe County High School, has been selected as a finalist for the NCAT 2026 Burroughs Welcome Fund North Carolina Career and Technical Education Teacher of the Year Award. This recognition highlights Ms. Colford's exceptional contributions to CTE instruction and her remarkable impact on the students and community here in Ashe County. I would also like to recognize Dustin Farmer, principal of Ashe County High School, Earl Pennington, Ashe County Schools CTE Director, for their support of Ms. Colvard. Where are y'all? That name.
Funds.
Okay, okay. Okay, all right, he's working the game, okay. Okay, I got you. So the Career and Technical Education Teacher of the Year Award was established to celebrate innovation, leadership, and dedication of CTE educators across North Carolina. This award honors teachers who exemplify the highest standards of excellence in preparing students for both college and career pathways and supporting workforce development. Ms. Colvard will be attending a week of professional learning with her fellow finalists in December, where interviews and portfolio review will be conducted by an expert panel of judges from across the state to determine the next CTE Teacher of the Year. On December 4th, NCAT will celebrate all finalists and announce the winner at a recognition event at the Corey Convention Center in Greensboro. At NCAT, we are committed to advancing teaching as an art and a profession, and we are thrilled to celebrate Megan Colford as a shining example of this mission. Please join me in congratulating Megan Colford on this outstanding achievement. We're pleased to provide you with this certificate, recognizing you as the NCAT 2026 Burroughs Welcome Fund North Carolina Career and Technical Education Teacher of the Year finalist. Let's clap for her right now.
So standing up here with them is Earl Pennington, and I know our CTE program would not be the same without him. Thank you, Earl.
Last words. Thank you for being here tonight to celebrate this outstanding educator. We appreciate Ashe County Schools for recognizing Megan Colvard and the NCAT CTE Teacher of the Year program. It's our honor to be here and to honor Megan. Thanks again.
There you go.
So congratulations again, Megan. We really appreciate you, and we know our kids do too. And I think they're looking for you outside for a picture. And if not, you're welcome to. All right, so next on our list, I think I mentioned this a few minutes ago, but Ashe County Schools was notified this summer that we have received the Government Finance Officers Association Excellence in Financial Reporting for the fiscal year of 2024, which makes the 13th consecutive year for this award. So Amanda Coldiron, come on up, please. Yeah, they're going to come with you. So I'm going to have you introduce your entire team, most of which are here right now. But I just want to say that, you know, when we have scares over the summer and not having certain funds, Amanda didn't panic. At least she didn't show it on the outside. You know, we talked through it and made a plan. And, you know, reassured us that it's going to be okay, even though we knew it really wasn't okay. But we had a plan, but it's because Amanda takes such good care of our funds and the finance team takes such good care of our funds that we can be in a place where we can take a deep breath and not panic. And it's great to be on a team and work with a team who truly cares about children and wants to put children first and are always thinking about the people who care for our children. So those adults in the buildings. And so, and I think that's why this award happens each and every year, is because of the care that they put into it on behalf of kids. So Amanda, thank you, because I know that things are tight when it comes to dollars, especially some of those state dollars.
Two of my ladies couldn't be here. Not one's coaching soccer, Miss Mildred's not. It was her baby's first soccer game, so I told her she absolutely had to go. Later Davis on Monday, Tuesday this year. So, Layton Lyle's not here with us tonight, but she is my assistant finance officer, and she is truly a jack of all trades. She can do a little bit of everything and has been just about every position in finance, and she's honestly, she's my rock. She's solid. And then I'm going to have Karen Williams come up. Karen is our payroll and benefits person, and this is the first time we'd ever combined that position because it's so large, and it's like to KK about her talents, and she keeps it all straight, and she keeps me straight, and we have a lot of back and forth and discussions about things, but she is so very talented in everything she does. She also helps on the soccer field. She does. She does. And then I've got Tanya Greer here with us tonight, and Tanya is our accounts payable and purchasing person, and if you want to find a deal, this lady right here can find a deal, and she is not going to let anybody spend money that they shouldn't be spending on something. Sometimes the hardest part of this job is saying no, isn't it, Tanya? But she is just amazing, and she has such a servant's heart, and she shows that during the back to school blast. She works so hard at gathering the supplies and materials to fill those backpacks with, and she's just an amazing person. And then Elaine May couldn't be here tonight. She was sick. Elaine is currently training to be the payroll backup. And she does fixed assets purchasing and accounts payable. She is a jack of all trades too. And I just hope she feels better.
So I do want to say that this goes far beyond finance, as Amanda mentioned, the back to school blast that happens behind the scenes. This team's the one who's packing backpacks. This one's who are organizing a lot of the supplies. That's the reason why we moved the last board meeting, because this particular room was full of it so that they could do that in between tasks of their finance duties. This just happened to be the place that was closest by to pull that team together. Thank you for all that you do, and we appreciate it. And we know that this year is especially hard when we don't have a state budget and had some other scares. However, they're doing great, and we appreciate all of them for what they do for Ashe County schools and for our kids. So congratulations. So the last thing that I have on here to share, and there'll be a lot more good things at the next meeting, but our AIM grants. And so today we had a team, Earl and Lakin were there with Gear Up and meeting about the start of this particular year. However, we had 7 educators that have been awarded a 25-26 academic innovation or AIM grant through the Appalachian State Gear Up Partnership. And so we have a few of them here today. And so these grants were earned at the exciting Expo Pitch competition, where educators were presented powerful, creative ideas to enhance student learning. We had over $50,000 in mini grants that were awarded in this year, and Ashe County Schools educators took home a big piece of this information. And so who do I have from the AIM grant here? Why don't everybody come on up? So we'll talk to you one-on-one. And I thought I was going to have somebody from App State here today. We're going to talk about them anyway. So the success, of course, is a testament to their creativity, their passion, and commitment to meeting the needs of our students. And they went out of their way to write these grants. And so I think everybody in this room knows that it takes us writing federal grants and state grants and other grants in order to be able to piece it all together. You know, the state does not fully fund everything that goes into the education that we provide. Even though that's the largest chunk of our information or of our finances comes from the state. But to go out of their way to write a grant to earn $10,000 or $5,000 is pretty incredible. Tanya Denny, come on up here, Tanya. You've seen Tanya many, many times before. She and Kathy Evans at Ashe County High School. Speaking of Ashe County High School principal, there he is. I hope it was a big gate.
Never big enough.
She wrote a grant called Connecting Languages, Families, and Futures Lending Library. And of course, Miss Denny is a jack of all trades, but she is our media coordinator at the high school extraordinaire. So not just the media coordinator, but she's also in charge of the Spark Lab. She has a full house all the time. I think part of it is kids love being there, but I also think that kids love being a part of Tanya and whatever she has going on. So congratulations, this is a $10,000 district impact grant. You want to share any more information about what it's going to do?
Yes, this grant will be for the high school and the early college, and can also be reached down into middle school and elementary schools. And what we'll be doing is working with vocabulary for multi-language users, and we'll be working with STEM kids, and we'll be having 3 family nights where families can come in and they can work with the STEM pieces as well. And then on top of that will be some PD for teachers, for multi-language users.
Thank you, Ms. Denny. So next we had, excuse me, Brittany Perry and Autumn Chamberlain here. So these are social workers here in Ashe County Schools. And they wrote a grant called Leaders in Bloom, Cultivating Change by Nourishing the Roots. And this was also a $10,000 district impact grant. Would you like to share what that's going to do?
So our grant is a 2-pronged approach. So my piece of the grant is focused on professional development for teachers. That will look through, it's a virtual reality training. where we're hoping to make teachers more aware of what some of our students face every day at home, to just give a better understanding in the classroom of what they're coming into. And then Brittany's part of the this year.
So, my part will be for Ashe County High School and Ashe County, early college students to do a small group school garden, where we'll develop and create a school garden.
And then the third grant, and I don't see Nikki Eason here, but Nikki Eason, Travis Eason, Daisy Finley from Ashe County High School wrote a grant called the Outdoor Exchange Classroom, and that came with a $5,000 whole school impact grant. So congratulations to all of them. That's $25,000 into the hands of our teachers to make a true impact on kids. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hunt. We'll keep going down the agenda. Next on the agenda is our public comment session. Under public comment, in accordance with policy 2310, the board chairperson will recognize speakers in order to which they are signed in. Each speaker will receive 3 minutes to present comments. However, the public comment session will not exceed 30 minutes total, except by a majority vote of the board. If a speaker is unable to present all of his or her information within the specified time limit, the speaker may provide the board with additional information in written form. Please refrain from addressing specific employees, student concerns, or board members as part of public comment. Concerns can be redirected to the district leadership as prescribed in the policy. Board members will not respond to individuals who address the board except to request clarification of points made by the presenter. Board chairperson has the authority to speak on behalf of the board and refer concerns to administration. Except in cases of emergency, information received during presentations will not be acted upon at the time it is received. So going into the public comment session there, we've got on the public comment, Miss Angela Wyatt. Yeah, you don't care for that.
I wrote it down, so y'all don't lose 3 minutes. Good evening, my name's Angela Wyatt. I come to you tonight as a parent of a first grade student at Mountain View Elementary School. Being you didn't give me much time, I do want to appreciate you. Thank you for hearing me at least. A classroom should be a place that builds confidence in young students and harbors an environment of effective learning. Children like mine often feel lost and overlooked in large classrooms. Please familiarize yourself with the well-known Tennessee STAR experiment. Smaller student-to-teacher ratios directly reflect not only better test scores, since they're so important, but also more confidence in the student's ability to learn. At Mountain View, you took our teacher assistants for first grade. I want all of you all to imagine taking 19 students, 6-year-old students, I might add, to the playground unassisted. Keep in mind that recess is only 30 minutes. Imagine teaching a lesson, seeing 19 bright, brilliant eyes looking to you for answers to the question from the lesson with eager raised hands. What would you do with the additional student if another one has a medical emergency? Where would our teachers find their support? At this time, Mountain View has 2 teachers assistant who assist with 4 first grade classes. She said a minute ago, and they sent a letter home that we'll be getting a new first grade classroom, and they get a new assistant. I now have a child that is very intelligent that cries every morning on the way to school, begging me not to go. Because they stay in trouble because the teachers are so stressed out from watching 19 kids. I believe due to the large classroom size, something needs to be done. We cannot afford not to have a teacher's assistant in a kindergarten, first grade, or second grade classroom. If we can afford all the other things, we can afford an assistant for those teachers. My child is an intelligent child who now hates school. Don't do us no good to wait till they get to high school to worry about things.
This is his learning. He is learning right now how to act in school, what's expected of him. He should be learning how to read, how to write his name, how to do his ABCs, how to count. But he should also be learning how to act during an assembly, how to talk to his friends. There's more to these classes than test scores, people. And whether you believe it or not, we're losing teachers because they don't want to be here because you're not working with them. You're not helping them. They don't have any support. Thank you.
We have public comment this evening. Next, we've got new middle school updates. I told Ms. Allison Kemp Sullivan somewhere. Oh, sorry, I'm used to you being in the back. You were up front this time. You threw me out. Sorry, Allison.
Keeping you on your game.
And you are.
So, the rain has not been quite as bad this month, but we had one good week, so we're gaining a little bit on it. I refer to the building in 4 areas. Area A being the classroom wing, we have B, C, and D. And Area A is where we have made some progress. So we have concrete wall and column footings that are being installed in this area. We have made progress on installation of water, sewer line, and we have manholes that are ongoing and being installed. The rain has impacted soil conditions for several days, and the grading contractor has resorted to conditioning the soil with lime, and that is ongoing. This can only be done in limited areas. It's not being done right now under the building pad itself. It's being done in the area and outside of the building pad area. So cut and fill operations continue to be done in the other areas, B, C, and D, which is the other areas of the building. It is almost up to grade to start footings in that area, but that's a bit of time away. We also are going to be starting programming for furniture that I need to start scheduling with the middle school this month. So that's the highlight. Any questions?
Just for board reference, you were emailed out the latest report from Allison. We don't have it in this agenda, but it's in, we just received.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one you sent me
Tuesday.
last night.
Oh, that was this week's report. I sent you one last week too.
They got that last week too. They got both of them.
It's just.
Oh, okay.
attached in here.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
And I especially appreciate the visuals we get, the pictures in addition. Satisfies curiosity as to what's happening driving up there and messing.
I feel like I keep sending you pictures of more dirt. Do you get the idea? Okay. Okay. We are moving a lot of dirt, yes. Okay. All right. There'll be more pictures and footings, so, all right. Okay. Thank
It'll
you.
be dirt for a while.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Allison Kemp Sullivan. Next, we'll jump into action items for the board. The first, under consent agenda, we have the data use agreement with RTI, Appalachian State, ACS Center MOU, the minutes from the last meetings, SRO, Sheriff's Office MOU are under the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Any questions or comments?
I'm still looking for minutes from closed session. I don't think they've had any in several months. I have we talked about I was in the office. Okay. I have forgotten now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the consent agenda, raise your hand. Motion carries. Next, we've got contract for chiller installation. Jody?
No, he's not, he's not here. But on August 14, the bid process for the chiller replacement at the high school was completed. And there were 5 vendors that submitted proposals, with Boiler Masters coming out in as the low bidder. And Mr. Johnson prepared the contract that you see, and we are requesting permission to proceed with this project for the chillers.
Do I have a motion to approve the contract? Thank you, Ms. Jones. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Any questions or comments?
The number mentioned in item number 3 is how much it's going to cost. And were there any warranties involved in this? I did not see.
So the warranties typically don't come in until following the installation of the chiller. But it'll be a standard warranty as long as that installation is done. I don't know what the warranty is on this particular piece. Do you have it in front of you, Amanda? But these actually came in under what we thought it was going to by a significant amount. So they were, what was the amount, Amanda? Do you have it there? We thought it was going to be about 800,000, and that's what the commissioners had given us, but that's what the cost analysis was, but it was less than that.
$524,000.
Is there an expected time of completing the installation?
Well, once the bid is awarded, it'll be following.
That's what the lead time was, and they had improved significantly when they added the.
Ones at Westwood. That was a year.
That's why I had it installed for spring. I know upstairs in the house,
It's
hot. So hopefully I can work something out with them if they can do it, and then I can correct them.
Any other questions?
I'm almost afraid to say 12 weeks.
12 to 15 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did this start? I don't, this thing is hard. Until the contract signed, and we had those first meetings with the contractor, we won't know a definite time it started. That's what we would like to do it, maybe over the Christmas holiday, disruption. Well, how much time is it gonna take them to install it? Does it, we have to do that work and
Other questions? If you're not all in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Next, we've got field trip for Ashe County Middle School. Timings, there you go.
I am here on behalf of our 8th graders to ask permission to bring back the 8th grade coastal trip. I think we last took that in 2019. So we have asked for March 25th, 26th, and 27th. So it's a 3-day, 2-night trip to the Outer Banks. I think you have the itinerary. The trip is $500 for the 3 days.
Do I have a motion to approve this field trip?
I move we approve the field trip.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
I've got 2 seconds, so you're good there. Any questions or comments for Ms. Hines?
Are they gonna stop at the universities like they used to? I did not see that in the itinerary.
Probably not, because we've had to reduce it down to the 3 days. It's a very straight shot. Prior, when we used to have Europe, they would pay for part of the trip if we put in a university, stop somewhere, but as of right now, we don't have Europe.
The grade cohort
It's moved on to the high school.
It's not through 13. The gear up cohort for this next 2 years is not through 13.
Outside of
well, may I make a suggestion? I guess I'm reading all those rules and all those wonderful structures you have in there. I'm going, okay. put that last next time. I want to see where you're going and how you're going.
Put the good stuff first.
Yeah, good stuff first. Yeah, I did read through everything that I thought. Okay, but I'm excited about y'all connect. Something that I really wanted to see happen. That would be the only time some of our students get go.
It's been too long.
Absolutely, and, you know how I feel about fundraising.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your hand. Sounds like you're going with the coast. Yeah. Next, we'll go from the coast to budget work sessions.
So I had sent an email out about Monday, the 15th is being the budget work session to give our team some time to really go down through what we have with the budget. I don't think it's going to change in time to do anything by our October 1st deadline for Amanda and her team to have everything in and filed for the state. And we just ask for a time that you would like to meet on that day. It typically takes about 3 hours to go down through each of the budget items, what we have left, where we are now, based on the best information that we have. So I don't know if you guys have a preferred time. You wanted to start like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so that you have, time to digest it, or if you want to start at 3,
I would
9 a.m.
early afternoon or morning because my evenings were pretty tied up with some other little folks right now, so.
I prefer the afternoon or morning as well, but the 1 o'clock would be fine with me.
1 o'clock. Give you enough time to get out.
Oh, we can start somewhere over there.
Okay, plenty of time.
Because that's it.
How about 1 p.m.?
1 p.m. Perfect.
Need a motion or anything on that, so we'll just keep going through. Next, we've got the Jody Providence Counseling Services Contract. MOU. See Ms. Little coming. We'll put you in the balcony.
Good evening. So I think I'm the next couple, but a few of these actually could have been on consent. That's probably wrong order. So, Jody Providence Counseling, our school-based services for students who qualify for school-based mental health services through Jody Providence. No significant changes to that contract for this year.
Do I have a motion to approve this contract?
Make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Calhoun. Do I have a second? Two, that work? Any questions or comments from Ms. Little?
I do have some questions about how this money is going to be spent. I noticed in the MOU, we have $75,000 that will be thereabouts allocated to this. We will receive the services because it seems to be more difficult to get our elementary students in to see Jody. And we do have the accident in high school. I'm very concerned about some of the things going on in elementary schools and some of our students who need support.
So this amount again is a tentative amount because we are using school safety funds that are specifically for students in crisis. And that's how this is allotted. So there are no local funds or state allotted funds that just automatically come to us. This is through our state school safety grant application process that we apply for. This is the amount that we received last year. Those funds are carrying forward. And so in order for students to be able to access this, of course, it is for all the schools, but you're right. We do have different supports in place at the middle school through Top Dog Clinic and as well as at the high school through Jody Providence. We're going to get to in just a moment our app health that looks very different this year, but these are not actually a whole lot harder to get there. We just have to show that they are actually needing these services for school application. And so sometimes when students are just in general anxious about the world, and they're typically fine at school because they feel safe, this might not be the right setting for them to receive it. So students do have to go through our mental health team as an MTSS process.
So how long does that take? Because I had a parent call me and she said referred her student in September of last year, and it was March before we received these services.
So depending if they were going through the intervention stages and showing some progress, and maybe then they tried something different, and then they showed some progress, so that can slow it down. Probably the quickest is about 6 weeks with the data to show that. Unless we have a qualifying event, which a doctor would help us with some of those things. But we do need to show that that the impact of these services being done at school directly impact success and at the school setting. We have tons of students who are still seeing Jody, their counselors outside of school hours. The funding source is different, so the process has to be different. So back in COVID, we had ESSER funds and it was looser, and we really were just trying to triage at that point because we had a lot. And this time, this is forcing us as a school to put things in place at tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. This is a tier 3. We should not have 30% of students that are receiving individual therapy. And if we do, we've got a bigger problem because we're not meeting the need. So we are working on that. It's going to be much more streamlined this year with some training and some team placements that we've already worked on over the summer. And then last year we had our hurricane right when we were trying to put a few things in place. And so that really slowed down a lot of progress with certain students. But again, I think the quickest fast track for that would be about 6 to 8 weeks. And that would be for students who really, we went through the intervention and we can show that's not helping them, attend school better, or that students are more comfortable in a classroom setting without having to exit to regulate emotion or whatever that looks like. That would be about as quick as we can get through that process
There are
effectively.
situations that can go directly to tier 4.
Tier 3, yes, but that's something that has to be worked on. It's like an IEP team decision almost. I mean, this is not an IEP, but we're putting them through the process just like in TSS. So if I had a student with a reading disability, we would try different things. So of course, there's going to be exceptions to that, but that's not the typical process, no.
Question, I'm trying to understand this whole process and how it applies differently. But when we do, tier 1, are those not whole group interventions that should be already in place for all our students?
So tier 1 does look very different, but for example, at our schools that are Leader in Me schools, that could very well be doing Leader in Me lessons, that's a thing that they're doing if they're in a certain grade level and they're doing a certain curriculum that's on character traits and character building, all of those things. It doesn't have to directly be like a social emotional learning or emotion regulation. It can be very different. So we have talked about that in our district MTSS teams and our school MTSS teams, and defined what those programs for tier 1 to look like. And they are all tied to research-based interventions that show how many weeks you kind of need to stay here, what your thresholds are if the student's performing at this level after 6 weeks or whatever that looks like, then that indicates to us, yes, this is effective. It may be slow, but it's working. And we want to try to put all those things in place. This is a very this should be kind of our last step. We don't want to just do this for every kid because it's not appropriate for every kid. Sometimes small groups are going to be more appropriate. And there are things that we can do within a classroom setting that are tier 3. It doesn't have to be counseling. We can have that teacher or teacher assistant or the custodian do a one-on-one intervention. We have that. We have children who do check in, check out with the custodian every single day. And that is their tier 3. So this is just one of our options.
That's why I think it's very important for us to keep our teaching assistants.
And our school counselors obviously are doing a lot of tier 3. I mean, a tremendous amount. And of course, with their expertise level, they are a lot of times the people who are helping with the conversation of this is beyond my realm, this is beyond my skill set, this is my recommendation, and they're a member of the team, and the team is making the decision. If that makes sense.
This is a minor point, but is there a reason why we have these 2 columns with all the spaces? I mean, the vocabulary is causing this to shift up. I'm scrolling up and down trying to get through it. There's a big, huge
Is it
page
not
break.
like that?
Yeah.
So this is from Jody, her lawyers. They sent it this way after it's been revised. So it's there.
And they don't allow you to fix.
Somebody got paid.
Well, I was kind of afraid to do that because I'm afraid I would lose something, but I can ask for that.
That's not like,
All right, I'll work on that, for sure.
but yeah, it's not a big deal, but it was difficult to
It
read
is,
this file.
I agree, I agree.
It took me a while to learn how to turn it, so I can see on one other thing, don't you?
Yeah, there was another one that's sideways.
Yeah.
This definitely came from a lot.
Before we turn the page on this one, any other contract?
Um, I'm just very concerned about, our students and our processes and, you know, our kids have changed and I'm just very concerned that we support them.
I think that might be an argument that it's time for us to look at how we're doing all children. That we need to fix the way we're doing it for a lot of kids and not just a few kids, and I agree with that. I think this is kind of the last, this is the highest level of need that we are, able to offer in our schools. And we do have students that need that, and we want to make sure they do have access, so I'll work very diligently to make sure that we get through those processes effectively, efficiently. I do know that last year there were a lot of breakdowns in getting some kids through that process, just because the consistency with being in, it's hard to do interventions when they're not here in person, and it was a remote day and a hard January. So that's why that particular student, we started in September and we had not done our part until
We're
later.
just gonna come to a mutual agreement. We're forgetting last year and we're trying to.
Thank
I
you.
will
Not
take
gonna
that.
happen
That
this
sounds
year.
great. Yep.
You're on a new complaint now.
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
I've heard that already. Yeah. Thank you.
yes, absolutely.
All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries, don't go nowhere. You're back up again for App Health SNFI MOU.
So this is another one that is a yearly, but I think this one really probably needed to be looked at a little differently this year. And the reason, and Diane, this will be important for you. One of the things that App Health a couple of years ago came to us and they were like, okay, what do we need? What can we do? And we talked about the need to have, after COVID, we had a school nurse at the middle school and we were losing that funding after other funds were gone. And they kind of stepped up and they said, we can help with that. And so we were able to keep the middle school nurse there full-time, as well as clinic there, which is a huge resource. And they've also been listening and looking at our data with our kids, and they said, you need more behavioral health. We've been screaming for that. So they have been able to hire 2 postdoc students and 2 behavioral health clinicians. So there's 4 total that will be in addition to Caitlin Adams, who's at the Top Dog Clinic. So we will have 4 additional clinicians who can go in and help teachers with behavior interventions. They can run small groups. They can do individual therapy. And all this will be through the Top Dogs setting. I mean, they'll be in all the schools, but it's through that same framework of a school-based health clinic at no cost to families. So, and they're full-time. They're going to be with us every day that students are with us, and
And they have so much energy. It's refreshing.
it's amazing.
They really love what they do, and that's important to us.
Three of them have come through our Ask Center as incomes, so they've been in school-based before, which is like, holy cow.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why we have the clinic at the Ask Center at the high school, was to grow people who wanted to work in school-based mental health. And we're finally seeing grants that help support them staying here in Ashe County.
So the referral process is the same. Specialist.
Right.
So they will be part of school team that we help develop those plans.
Yes. Yeah.
We have several in progress already.
That's right.
Any other questions, comments? Understand the motion to approve this MOU.
I make the motion we approve this.
Okay.
I second.
All right, thank you, Ms. Eldred, Ms. Ward.
Thank you.
One more.
I'm sorry.
Any
I'll leave
questions for a vote?
quickly.
All those in favor, raise your hand. All right, keep going.
Okay, last one. So this is the yearly mental health training plan that is required by our state, that we do a certain amount of training for all staff each year around, mental health and suicide, our suicide referral protocol. So, this document looks very similar to ones you guys have had in the last couple of years with just the updates for this year with the names, titles, and duration of all of the, trainings that we utilize for all staff. And we just submit this yearly to show North Carolina, this is how we are complying and with this law.
Do I have a motion to approve this plan?
I'll make a motion next time you can turn it around.
Yes, get all the formatting correct, yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Do I have a second to the motion?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Ward, Ms. Calhoun. Questions, comments?
I do have a comment about the vector courses. I know that's a convenient way to do things, but, like putting kids on, the computer to do training, I have some reservations about all of that. Is there any follow-up that's done to the vector training, or is it just check off, we've done this?
We've explored a couple of different ways. The state has made some of the modules, so it's a little different, but in my opinion, I went through some of those. They're extremely dry. These are actually updated, so the title will be the same and even the duration, but like our Title IX one was completely new this year. So I know it is cumbersome, it is long. But as far as follow-up, not a tremendous amount, I mean, honestly, but we do talk about at the very beginning of the year meetings that principals have with staff, they kind of review. There are certain parts with bloodborne pathogens and some of the other ones, maybe not these as specifically, but about being a mandated reporter and who do you contact, who's your school safety team if you have a concern about the student's well-being. It's kind of reviewed, but it's not directly review of these vector trainings. I agree, they're not the greatest. Yes, they do, they do. Because it is required of every staff member, so that includes.
Custodians and cafeteria staff, everybody.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. I think we're good.
Thank you.
Next, we've got the personnel. Have those attached to your agenda there. Do I have a motion to approve the personnel?
I move we approve the personnel.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Any questions, comments? I'm personally glad to see us with a second ROTC instructor after a while. That's wonderful.
He's great too.
Comment on many that.
How will that work? How will you work in with the criminal resident? Is he just like an assistant?
He's also a teacher.
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
instructor as well.
Because they have lots of little subgroups within the ROTC, so they'll be able to do things and participate in more competitions.
I was just wondering.
Yeah. And they typically hold to and hold to time.
And then is three.
Yeah.
There's our hands.
And they're, no, it's okay. It's a good question.
Any other questions, comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Next, we've got the literacy plan. That's all they're setting up front of it.
Yeah.
That's right, what you get to be late, so.
That's exactly right. And it's that time of year, our K-5, K-3 literacy plan, is due to the state, just a few weeks. So, what you have before you is our updated plan, that our specialists and our curriculum team got together and updated a little bit, but mostly it's the same as what you've been seeing for the past, I guess it's now probably 4 years, 5 years. But this plan is based upon Senate Bill 387 and the legislation that comes from Read to Achieve and all the things that go along with that. So we're just asking for your approval for this year.
Do I have a motion to approve this literacy plan?
I make a motion to approve.
All right, do I have a second?
I second.
Any questions or comments?
I'm gonna be very honest with you, it's nothing directed to you. I find that the curriculum for the kindergarten program is not developmental. I'm looking, I redid research on every one of the programs that are recommended, and while they're beneficial, we have all scripted programs here for our kindergarten folks. And I've been working some in kindergarten and first grade, and we've got kids that can't cut, we've got kids that can't make circles, but we're doing, written wisdom, which is a very high level comprehension kind of thing that has not a lot to do with letters. It has to do with comprehension, and I've seen some of that at work, and I think it's too soon for kinders. And so that would be the reason that I can also support this. It's because they're completely right.
Let's speak to that. We're not just, we don't just have written wisdom, which written wisdom is actually not scripted. If you take the scripted part, it's pretty real, because we've actually done that. But the phonics is the literally is, it is scripted because it's research based. It has to be taught that way in order to work. So you have that, which in my opinion is story based. You know, you have Abby Apple and tells the story and goes through third grade, and I hope those two can remember the characters. They stick in their brain. Then you have Peggotty, which I think the teachers all love. It's phonological awareness. And then Geos was added on this year, which our teachers had training. And I think they really like that part. I think even we've heard from our teachers, one that was struggling a little bit. She loves that part. She said that, quote, it was maybe the missing piece for her. And then the written wisdom, when you follow it, it actually does have built in the dance, the movement, all these little things that you can follow it to the melody. It has those things within it, but you have to do it, or you would miss those things.
You know, I'm sitting there and I watched and attention span for students is supposed to be about a minute per year. And these lessons are indicated for them. And they are not getting the movement in, they're not getting the exploration in, we don't have singers, they can't. And I listened to Bill David talk about all of the communication, about problem solving, about all of those components. And right now, we don't have that. It's not there. And it's not the teacher's fault.
Those are built into some of the lessons, which we'd be glad to sit down and show you, like a full written wisdom lesson throughout in life, and how those things are built in, turning, talk, partner work, knee, shoulder to shoulder, all those social skills, throwing the ball so that it's not just purely teacher directed, but it's a lot of work on the teacher to learn that, to do it, and it's a release too, because we teach as teachers, I know speaking as an LA, we want to control it. And so we have to train them, and we did go watch a kindergarten teacher who had taught it from within a year, and it was amazing. And then one of our teachers at Blue Ridge, who was on the watch, actually got to see her about 2 weeks later, and she had implemented some of the things that she had seen, and it was, I was so impressed that she was, you know, the kids, they were enthused. I feel like they were learning. I think you can't take any one part. I think it's all these parts coming together. And it doesn't take their whole day. They've got math, and other times during the day, we bring them a solo.
One thing I have liked about it is we do have our coaches that come. That's one thing about this company, that they want to make sure that we're successful, and so they come back continuously all throughout the year, and they help us to understand, help teachers understand, help the principals understand, how do you teach this particular curriculum, and how do you, and coaching them through what does this look like. And so one of our coaches in particular talked to them about breaking that lesson up in pieces, especially for our younger ones. They shouldn't be sitting the whole time. If they're sitting and getting, that's a problem. So it should be broken up, and she's helped them, coach them through what does that look like. So we have that piece in play. And then also when we've gone down to Wilkes and trying to see what they're doing, how do their kindergarten teachers teach it, and let them actually see how it works. They should be getting up. We've learned how to maneuver that. We don't know how to hold that in a block straight back to back. It can be broken up. And the principals have worked on that and really tried to make sure that their master schedules are helping this, that give some transition time so they aren't sitting. But again, if they're sitting the whole time for that, then it's not being done the right way.
It's not being done if they're sitting the whole time. Parts are being left out.
I think another thing that really was an aha moment for a lot of us when we sat through, a geos training this summer. Our coach reminded us, remember, this particular curricula is language comprehension. We're not teaching students to read with this. It is language comprehension. We know the stories are not going to be readable to them. Think about, why do you read to a 2-year-old? Why do you read to a 2-year-old? They can't read it. You are reading to them so they learn vocabulary, so they hear you read, so they learn about the content, the topics. You're reading to 2-year-olds to help them learn about knowledge, about things. And so that helps you see, okay, this is the purpose for this particular curricula. It's language comprehension. You're building syntax, background information, language comprehension, all of those things. That has to be just as firmed up as the phonics piece so they can read it. And that comes from Letterland. And now we've got our next piece, which is geos, and that's going to help them with having them more practice time. And that's our next step too, is giving students more practice time reading.
If it's only so many minutes and it takes you, and we don't have assistants in every classroom, you cannot do all the cases. I watched today folks trying to cut. I watched little ones today trying to cut, and they couldn't even cut the lesson, the lesson, and it had sentences there. These are folks that can't read, and the pictures were not. You couldn't tell which happened then or next if I hadn't been able to read them. So they're requiring a lot of assistance. And so, they're just, I think that if we did it after Christmas and with some of that after Christmas, after we had routines down, after we had some socialization time, after we had some time to, developmentally get used to being in that school, I would feel better about it.
Well, at the beginning, it should be a lot of teaching routines. It should be a lot of reading aloud, having good discussions, having them involved in the text, getting up and moving around, acting it out. It should be a lot of those things.
I know it was a discussion end of last year, and I had some big teachers reach out to me, and I talked to you all.
Yeah.
So I was educating myself, and I think I went to Mountain View or there to Jerry and walked through it, and to see what the advance of what kindergartens and first graders are actually doing. They actually had better handwriting than some middle schools and high schools.
Yes.
So, I mean, there is a lot of positive that can come out of this.
When you have the expectation that they can do it.
Yeah, and they were writing like sentences and like their storytelling. I mean, it was real impressive. It was helpful.
I think that the teachers have told me the most positive things that we are learning. That it's actually is good instead of having to find time.
And I just feel like structured literacy, we need to not separate literacy from fun. And I'll just be honest, my pet peeve is fun Fridays, because if we teach kids that Fridays are fun because you get to go outside and not do work, then what are we teaching kids? Structured literacy can be fun. And the way we model that to children through playing and dance and art, and to hear the kindergartners talk about art, it's so impressive because they have this natural wonder as it is. But to hear them look at the picture and analyze it and what they come up with, it's pretty amazing. So I want them to see that learning can be fun, so we stop thinking that it's these two separate things. And we have to set that in kindergarten. And if we don't teach the standards that are set forth in kindergarten, then we put them behind in first grade. And then we're going to put them behind in second grade, and that is not fair to children. Nor is it obtainable for teachers to fill those gaps. Because if they already come to us a little far behind, and then we don't ensure that all the kindergarten standards are taught, and written wisdom does ensure that within the first 3 modules, all standards are taught within the first 3.
And that kids feels like they're constantly catching up and going into each grade, that they're where they're having to work that hard.
I know we have different opinions. It's going to have, you can have 100 people in the room, and 50, 60, 40. We did a lot of research. A lot of the kindergarten teachers actually voted for written wisdom. We have those results still. But they had the choices.
When did you vote on that, or when did they vote?
We've been through it a year now, so
2 years ago.
after a hearing process, probably a 2 to 3 year process of regrets, the literacy league regrets visiting schools. Multiple schools, and multiple teachers and.
As one of our consultants says, we have the Cadillac, the curricula right now. It's the best. So, and it's gonna be hard. I mean, it's hard, but year 2, I've already been in schools like we were talking about. They're like, they know how to do this stuff. Now kindergarten won't. They're gonna be starting fresh because they've never done instructional routines. So it's gonna be a harder lift. But the one thing that, one of the veteran kindergarten teachers told us in Wilkes, she said, you start day 1 with routines and you don't let up. Not one time. She was like, you expect it on day 1, you expect it on the last day. And she said, and that's what got me, because I was able to do that, and I just stuck with it every single day, and I got it. So it was the consistency, and you start with day 1. It's a harder lift for them because they don't have any background on it. Whereas, first grade teachers this year, like, they remember how to do it. They remember, so that's been, I think eventually that will continue to trickle up. But I feel very confident, with what we've got. It aligns to everything that is what our state recommends, what they require, what the research recommends. It aligns exactly the way it should. So it's just a matter of getting in there and doing it. And it's good for our kids. I mean, I see it in my own personal kids. So they did a great job last year. They only had less than 90 days of face-to-face. And look what we did. So good. So they did it.
One thing that would help if we had a consistent testing team that would go in, like other school districts have, where they do the, all the individual testing at the beginning of the year. That
Thanks.
we
started that this year.
We'll see if that's what she's been doing for 3 weeks.
And we started in certain grade levels with ones that really want it, just as a starting place. Kindergarten, we were hesitant because they don't know who we are. They don't know all these people coming in, whereas the older ones know it, and they'll just come with me like, okay, and they'll walk down the hall and it's fine, and it's like running just a little factory. It's great, but now kindergarten's different. And so I've talked to the principals, and they're with me on this too. We will eventually get to where we pull kindergarten into it too. They've just never been to school before,
But are we doing, how many teachers are we doing this for? Because the first grade, they have a lot of testing to do overall. And it has to be included.
It's up to the principals and what they want to do, what we offer them, and how they want to do it. We have offered it however they want to do it, but I was hesitant on kindergarten. I told them all 3 because they don't know what school is. And for us to just start. Right, but as the year goes on from middle and end, happy to do it.
They don't know what school is, but we can follow this curriculum.
Sure, we teach the routines, absolutely, but they don't know who we are coming in. You know what I'm saying? They know their teacher and what they're comfortable with. That's what I mean.
I move that we vote to approve the literacy plan, and thank you for your work and research you've done.
Ms. Ward's called the vote, had the motion in the second. All those in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you all. Next on the agenda is the Ashe County Schools MOU with local community college. Dr. Mr. Yeah.
Earl Pennington, there's several people in here who were on regular meetings with Wilkes for this one, so.
Sure, and that's what I was gonna say. I'm here on behalf of several folks to present our local agreement with Wilkes Community College. And in the PDF scan, there's actually 3 parts to it. There's
There's the MOU itself, there's the CTE, CCP, local articulated classes between Ashe County High School and Wilkes Community College. And then there's another in there for teaching as a profession class to articulate it to a community college because it articulates to a university class. So I know there was a whole lot said there, but there are 3 different documents there in that one PDF. Usually we bring 10 CCP, CTE courses and to look at articulating locally. If you'll notice, Ashe County has 1 this year, and the reason being is the state listened. We've been offering 8 to 10 articulating classes locally. Now they have become state articulating classes, so we no longer have to do that. So that's why that number has reduced down to just 1 for Microsoft and Excel. So kudos to the state. I think they've modified that list 2 times now in the last 4 years, I believe. That's good news. That means our students are getting more opportunities by taking CTE classes. They're getting more opportunity to have articulated classes, not to just Wilkes, but to all of our community colleges across the state. So what an opportunity for them there. Will I have a motion to approve the MOU?
I move we approve the MOU.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Go ahead.
Yes, I had asked this be moved out of the consent agenda because a parent has brought to me a disconnect between what Ashe County is doing and what Wilkes Community is doing concerning the cell phones. That there are certain classes that Wilkes Community College is asking, the professors are asking the kids to use their cell phone, and our county kids are not being allowed to do that. I think we made that clear that they cannot go with those cell phones to another class, and it's presented as some kind of an issue. I think it sort of puts a students in the middle. Here I am, an Ashe County student, I have my cell phone locked up, but over here, they're using those cell phones because they don't have dedicated devices that they use, so they use cell phones for programs and for homework and that kind of thing. So how can we come up with is accepted fair, how it connects kids not put them in a bind? I'm going to my Wilkes class, I can't have my phone is locked up, but I need it for this class. So, I mean, I think we're concerned about that. And to everybody, that's the only concern I've had about cell phones from parents before, is the you know, how does that fit in to it? So I'd like that to be part of this MOU, or at least have a discussion about it.
So this MOU is actually one that's with all school districts. So for that Wilkes serves, not just ours. So they have signatures on here at the end. You can see with Ashe, Allegheny, and Wilkes, who don't all have any of the same policies, which is a little problematic. And so it's a challenge, and we've worked through some of that, but we have uplifted this concern to Wilkes about students, because it is not a requirement for a cell phone for any of the classes that they offer, and it's certainly not something that they can require. So we have put this back in Wilkes' hands to have discussions with their professors, because it's only, 2 professors that we've heard of that have.
I think it's probably something that we need to discuss. I put it on the agenda for this. We have monthly partnership meetings. And it is on the agenda because that is our expectation. I know Dustin and I both have drilled it into our kids that they're not allowed to have their phones, even in their college classes. They're locked up. I know Dr. Marsh has spoke specifically to all of his folks on Ashe campus. But again, I think it's a matter of, and Miss Walker was there the whole first week of school troubleshooting, because I can say this, the kids do not need their cell phones in Wilkes classes.
Correct.
There should be no issues in enforcing that, because they just shouldn't have. The problem is the enforcing. So it gets a little wishy-washy as to what is the expectations of a Wilkes Community College instructor if a student has a cell phone. Is it Ashland County High School student? Is it an early college student? Is it a traditional student? And then it's kind of, you know, our teachers, Dustin's teachers, my teachers know if a kid gets their cell phone out there on their smartwatch, they got an AirPod in, it's a high school age kid, I have to take the device. I don't know, you know, I can't, and I don't, you know, I don't see Dustin and I walking in college classrooms and trying to police that in there either.
That's not the
So-
expectation either.
But Wilkes has set up all of the, as long as kids are logged on to Ashe County Schools or Wilkes Community College Network, their emails, their Wilkes Community College emails are whitelisted. So the multi-factor authenticator does not trigger to have to send them a text to their phone. And Miss Walker sat up there that whole first week of school, and we sent students to Dr. Marsh and Mike Rash and Miss Walker, and they navigate anytime something like that would pop up, that if a kid wanted to get their phone out, nope, go to tech. We're gonna figure this out, get everything working correctly. It seems to be working. I think the issue, again, just becomes to how are instructors going to distinguish who's who? And where, you know, that, I don't know that I don't know what we do with that, but I do have that, I added it to the agenda to discuss at our next
I can
meeting.
just see that some of our high school students may be at a disadvantage if all the other students have their phones out and they're using this program and they're doing this in class. And they
Shouldn't need.
They shouldn't need it. They should not need it.
And what I've been doing with that is if I hear of it specifics, then I am letting Dr. Marsh know. And so one issue that I know that happened was like day one of class. He had not had his Ashe campus meeting yet with instructors. And there was an expectation that a student use their phone in their college class. But after he met with faculty and staff, and they were, again, because he had sent out information, but once he got face to face with them and assured them, you know, they're not going to have their cell phones, don't expect them to have their cell phones. That was taken care of. There was one other that I mentioned to him, and I believe that was he had a conversation with that instructor as well. So that's kind of how I've been dealing with it. Is that if kids come and say, well, this kid's on it, and that one, you know, then I've been letting him know, and I've even though I can't catch him in the moment, if I've heard of it, I've emailed the students and said, hey, I'm hearing that you're on your device in college class. It's not allowed. It's gonna catch up if you come. So.
And they've been really good at working with us throughout this whole process. So it's just a matter of it coming to our attention. Lindsay is on it right away. I know, even though Dustin is across the street on a different campus, is as well troubleshooting. And then just as Lindsay said, the entire first week, the entire week, Amy Walker was up on the Ashe County campus and literally dedicating her whole time to helping them navigate any type of tech issues, because we wanted them to start off great. We've had, you know, little issues with Wi-Fi and things in the past that we wanted to head off, but knew that this could be, if there was multi-factor authentication, that might be an issue. And I think from what I hear, it's pretty smooth now.
It is, but if you're hearing this, I would tell those students to come let me or Dustin know, because we communicate with Dr. Marsh
Regularly.
daily. They even have, so I have two of the unlocking stations, so we use both in the mornings. And then what I do is I walk down our mobile one, I walk it down to Poe Hall, and he keeps it at the front desk there. So if a student were to check out early, or just at the end of day at dismissal, he has an unlocking station down in Poe Hall as well for kids as they leave. So they have access to that when they're leaving, you know, or an emergency situation. And you know, he's been great, and I feel like has addressed both things that I brought to his attention. A lot of it's just educating. I mean, once the instructors learn their students and know that this isn't going away, I think that's going to be, and we just have to stay on top of it. I mean, that's what we've had a lot of conversations at my house about that too. You know, if we start getting lax on stuff, and you know, take a kid's word when they say they don't have their AirPods, and you just saw them 5 minutes ago walking in school with their AirPods, you know what I mean? Like, we just have to, we're just gonna have to stay vigilant with it, and once they realize it's not going away. What did the guys say at the community event? It takes 30 days to build a habit, so,
That's it.
you know, we're only in week 3, it's gonna take some time.
Exactly. Well, I just felt like that it needed to be discussed because we all need to be on the same page with that. And the teachers that I have talked to are ecstatic that they're not dealing with cell phones every day. They said it's the best beginning of school that they think they've ever had. And so kudos to or in agreement that it's not, they're not fighting over it either, so. How do you feel? Thank you for taking the time to do
Yeah,
this.
absolutely. And one thing about this is probably one of the most
Thorough.
comprehensive, thorough, deep dives of an agreement ever. I mean, we were just.
I asked to
probably
have it shortened.
short,
I
six-
did. I was like, it's too
Six,
long,
seven,
too
but
many
we,
words. I know, it's good. We're gonna get
but I
there.
just can't speak enough of when we had ideas and we had, concerns, there was open conversation and anything.
lot of
I
open
know anything that we
conversation.
bring to these monthly meetings or emails or however we need to do it, will be addressed and be looked at in an equitable manner. So thank you for that.
Any other questions on the MOU? All those in favor, raise your hand. Sounds good.
Thank you much.
Carries. Next, we've got the added item to the agenda, the volleyball overnight trip. Mr. Coach Hanson.
Yeah, I made it fine, sorry.
You're all right? You letting us in? So
Sorry.
you're good.
I put you at the end.
Yeah, we'll give you.
Sorry for my dress, I came straight from practice field. We, our volleyball team has been very successful and has the opportunity to play in the Big Falcon tournament on September 19th and 20th at West Henderson High School. Because of the late night on Friday and the early game schedule on Saturday, they are requesting to spend the night. There'll be 13 players and 3 chaperones. 2 of the chaperones are female, 1 is male, the head coach. And they'll be in 6 rooms. There'll be 2 for the coaches and 4 for the players. They've been working hard to raise some money to help pay for this, and I've assured them that the athletic department will pick up what money they do not have.
Do I have a motion to approve this overnight trip?
Make a motion that we approve this trip.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Eldridge. Thank you, Ms. Jones. Questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor, raise your hand. Thank you, sir. Next, we've got updates, discussion items, and considerations for the board. I'm talking a little bit about FEMA, get an update there.
So we have, Jody is not here today, but Amanda and Lakin and Jody worked really hard on the FEMA updates, but you can see that Westwood Elementary washout project is what they're calling it. Began on Monday, August 25th, and it's to be completed by September 30th for that contract. We have a contract with a vendor for Ashe County Middle School baseball and softball fields, and they're to be completed by October 19th based on the contract. There's a contract with the middle school softball field fence. That's also to be completed by October 19th as well. Temporary repairs for the early learning center have been complete, and we're in the process of working on the early learning center roof, and a contract that Fred and Terracon are being reviewed right now. We have the Mountain View drain system and sinkhole is planned to begin today. I'm not sure, when the completion date will be on this. We do have Kevin Nicholas on retainer for that project, but that is the one that's closest to the playground, and that's why that one is taped off right now, so kids don't get over there and fall in a hole that they don't need to fall into. And so, we don't know.
really know what they're gonna find.
Correct.
They start doing it.
so I'm gonna have to go a little further.
They're gonna find lots of water, I'm sure. It's wet there.
That's why I'm feeling it's all the thing on the top. I'm gonna have no engineer come out there.
And so, right now, kids have access to the upper, field and playground, upper two fields and playground. But that one is off limits for safety. But soon as that is fixed, to our satisfaction, then we will begin the repairs to the, playground equipment, that need tended to, but until we know whether we're gonna have to rip it all out and do something different, then it's gonna stay closed off.
It's been asking, will they do it again? Baseball, softball this season?
It should be done in October. The middle school, you're talking about middle school, correct? So it depends, the dugouts are a completely different story. You want to share about the dugouts, Amanda?
Asking for things, a lot of things, and if they know we need it in this format, go back to the, person that's gonna be doing the construction on the dugout and ask them to change their estimate again.
And we only have one vendor.
I'm sorry. We're walking a thin line with, and we don't want to upset him by coming back to him over and over, requesting all this information. We only have the one.
Correct.
But yeah, and then
Is not being easy to work with.
So what should I tell parents? We are doing the best we can. I had already been under construction already.
And the fence project in the actual finished, and same way with the field, it's the actual dugouts that are in question.
Temporary covers, they will have something to take care of them while they're playing off. We just don't know what's going to look like.
And well, and of course, we wanted, softball and baseball, we want to have similar playing conditions, right? Similar field conditions and similar dugout conditions for our girls and our boys. So, it's one of those things where we want our kids to have what they need, and it may take a little bit of time to get FEMA to cooperate. That's fair, right? Okay. And so that's what we're working closely with FEMA on that one. The storage building relocation at Ashe County Middle School, as you recall, this summer, because it had no footing, it was going to fall in. It's down. It looks great. It's nice and open there. But we're working on the actual location again. There was a little bit of a holdup on the location of the field. At one point in time, it was in a flood zone. And I don't know what this particular issue is, but and then, of course, the Early Learning Center roof, and then the Mountain View drain system, all of those are in progress as far as the paperwork, pre-approval process. And then, I'm excited that for our maintenance team, they've worked so tremendously hard. July completion average was 88% of all of their work orders, on top of all of these other things that they've had going on. So that's not including all these major projects. And so kudos to them for it being able to complete that high of a percentage. And some of the others where they couldn't complete it is because, they had to order parts, and they had some other things that they had to do that just weren't accessible to them at the time. And then we're in the process of finishing the facilities assessment with Basica. You may recall about 5 years ago when I first came, it was 2025, December 2021, 2020. Oh my gosh, 2020, I don't know my years. So 2020, 2021, it was close. Yeah. So it was during COVID, and we had Basica come in and do an assessment with our school teams on all of our facilities. These are the school-based facilities, to complete a report that's due into the state. And so They're in the process of finishing that paperwork. I think you might remember we got a notebook about this thick and then had projected out immediate needs and then all the way out to 10+ year needs. And so we should have that to you by the deadline. The new paperwork from the state has not been released yet, but once it's released, then we'll get it on the new forms, but the work to put into the paperwork is pretty much completed. So we'll get that to you hopefully by December.
Any other questions, comments? While we've got everybody here, if it's okay with the board, do you want to give a public update on the current middle school? Kind of where they're at?
Oh, okay.
I've been asked that question at a meeting or two.
So what was it, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, a week and a half ago, they had to come out and do a drain assessment. So they brought in a team to do the current drains to see what they look like. And some of the structures weren't as bad as what they thought. As far as the drains on the roof. And so, but it did cause them to have to do minor adjustments for DPI for their project. And so once those adjustments were complete, which I think was supposed to be today, they were going to be submitting it, the updated thing to DPI. So then it's in DPI's hands and of course the whole bid process. So we're still on target to get it bid out for the lowest bid that they talked about when they were here a couple of months ago. So, but it's in progress. So they had to do a further drain assessment because you remember there were 4 different roofs or 5 different roof types up there. And they actually had to go down in and like take them out and core it again around all of the drains to see what that looked like. So I don't know whether this is more of an envelope type thing or I don't know. I really don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to roofs. So I may just need to stop there, but I do know that they had to dig deeper in order for them to complete the design to DPI's satisfaction.
Didn't think we're DPI's hand.
So we will be, yeah, if it wasn't sent today, then it will be sent very soon, the updated designs to DPI, yes.
Thank you to our student reps for being here this evening. Good to see you all. And I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I didn't have a motion.
Oh, I make a motion.
Okay. Do I have a second? All right. Motion to be second there. All in favor, raise your hand. See everybody.